I work for the Center for Automotive Research. It's a nonprofit, independent research organization in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Obviously, we focus on the automobile industry because somebody has to. I think that you've got me in an interesting crowd here. I would suspect there's more than a few people that would just hope that this industry would just go away so we can get on with the future, right? But the future to us is a little shorter time period than some of the folks I've already talked to, and it's not looking very good. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, Aaron said, why don't you come up and tell us what's going on? And he just informed me I had 22 minutes, so I'll try my best. He gave me a few simple instructions coming up here. He said the central focus of this conference is looking at future risks and uncertainties to Michigan. And I thought, well, okay, you're talking to one of the right guys. Design a and the outcome being to design a sensible and secure risk mitigation plan, and that's where my mouth dropped open. So why don't we take a look at where, we'll back up and kind of see where we're at the moment. Okay, I'm done. I'll give you the details behind this. The industry, as you well know, is very integral to the economy of the state of Michigan. It's integral to a lot of states, probably 20, 25 states in the country have a substantial automotive investment in them. Their economies are not solely driven by it, but it's a major contributor. The industry contributes, for every direct job in the industry, there's anywhere from, depending on where you are, 5 to 10 jobs that are outside of the industry that are related to the industry. So it's of much more concern than just the state of Michigan as we look at some of these numbers. And the work I've done, I've worked with the state of Michigan and a lot of other states, even into the province of Ontario, and believe me, a lot of folks are worried. So where are we? Yeah, this kind of says it all. We've lost 3 million units of sales in 1 year. We'll probably be lucky to sell 13 million vehicles this year. Sold 16 million last year. Just to put some perspective on that, for every, there's 200,000 vehicles, it equates to about 1 assembly plant. So 3 million vehicles, you're interrupting the production of, I don't know, do the math, 15 assembly plants. Next year doesn't look any better. In fact, it's looking worse for sales. And sales, keep this in context. The automobile sales are a main indicator of the health of the economy and a good lead indicator of going into a recession and conversely coming out of one. We don't see anything really substantially happening until about 2011. These are from our friends at the University of Michigan who take a much closer look at the economy than we do. So what's happening in general? The sales through October of this year compared to last year are off 15%. Light trucks shouldn't come as any surprise, are off a ton. Passenger cars are down. It's across all segments except for that little one down there at the bottom, small cars. The price of fuel, and I had a conversation with a gentleman earlier, this is a thing that we watch, the price of fuel as a threshold to consumers changing their buying behavior, and we reached that threshold this year, and consumers started rejecting everything that was popular and started embracing things that were never popular, except during high gas prices. It's kind of sent the industry into a tailspin. Company by company, like I said, we're in tough shape. For anybody who thought that there's companies that are doing better than others, there certainly are, but they're all suffering right now. Honda, Toyota, and Nissan are down. But you can see what's going on with their Detroit 3 operations. Chrysler, Ford, General Motors are all down substantially through October of this year compared to last year. General Motors last month, compared to October of a year ago, sales were off 45%. If we're talking sustainability, that isn't. So how did we get here? I'm the first one to tell you, when I say we, I don't I don't say that in that I'm embracing any part of the industry at all, but certainly the domestic part of the industry has made some very bad product investment decisions. When they had lots of money, they kept chasing profits rather than taking a longer term view of the future. Kept building trucks and the like, and not small cars. Rising gas prices. Like I said, it sent the industry into a tailspin. Some companies were more better positioned to respond to that than others, and that in itself is fine in a free market condition. That's what happens. Some companies are more foresightful, or they get lucky. However, gas prices are now falling. So like I said, that's one of the things that we watch as a threshold point. It's making things difficult to plan for. And so how else are we here? We're in a recession. Whether groups or organizations or newspapers or governments want to dance around it, we are in a recession. We've seen this for a few months now, and we're definitely there, so you can say it. However, the number one reason that the domestic industry is in the papers every single day, and the cause of us writing a memo last week that's keeping us way too busy responding to, I think you said you had copies of that somewhere, is the financial sector crisis. The guys in New York. And we thought it was a housing bubble, right? And it turns out it's much more than that, but it's driving through the entire financial sector. What has happened is that, as you well know, if any of you have tried to go out and buy a motor vehicle, is that credit has dried up. And it's not just consumer credit, it's company credit. Companies that, even if they're in bad shape, could still borrow money on a short-term basis to institute plans and all that. But all of that money has dried up. A company like any of the Detroit 3 operations that desperately need cash to keep going through, to respond to changing market conditions, is having a very tough time getting money. Hence, well, I'll get to that. Hence the B words. To declare or not, or to sink or swim. Is it bailout or bankruptcy? And are they mutually exclusive? Bankruptcy, well, I've got my 22 minutes that I'm carving into, but that's, again, a discussion in itself. Like I said, there's certainly a faction of folks that would say, let them go. Let the bankruptcy go. Let it take its natural evolution. And compare it to some other industries, saying, well, the steel industry went bankrupt. A lot of companies, just about every airline has gone bankrupt, and they say, well, those are fine. Our view on this is that an automobile company going bankrupt might as well just go out of operation and not attempt to come back, because who in this room would buy a car from a bankrupt company knowing that it's a long-term investment and you need that company there to service it, to produce parts, the like. We think that bankruptcy for some companies does work. For an airline, you're only buying a plane ticket from them. They get you there and you get off and you say, okay, fine, I don't care if you're around next week. You got me where I needed to go. Bailout. I talked about the financial sector crisis, that money isn't around. These companies, certainly in Detroit, need some money just to keep moving through their operations, to use it to invest in the future where all of us would like them to get to, which is higher fuel efficiency, building something local. I picked that up while I was here, local. They are doing it local. If they don't do it local, guess what? It's going to come in from somewhere else, and that's terribly inefficient. So let me give it some Michigan